Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Project Network. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from EqualBet. This conversation was recorded on August 11th, 2022, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of KPN directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy! Hello everybody, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to another AMA with KPN. Today we're going to be talking with EqualBet and also going to have someone on from KD Launch as well, and I am very excited to learn more about this Kings NFT project. It looks like it's going to be absolutely insane. Let me just add a co-host to KD Launch here. How you doing today? Hola.
How are things at on Project Eco today?
Oh, busy as always. Busy as always. Lots of crazy every day it seems like there's a new project popping up, so it's almost hard to stay on top of them.
I know, right? It's almost like Kadena is getting real adoption. That's just it's pretty cool.
Crazy.
Hey guys.
We'll give a hey, how's it going?
Alfonso,
what's up?
It's you.
It's
Good.
me. I'm here.
And we'll just give her a few minutes and let some people work their way in.
Awesome.
So we just had a big AMA with Kadena. That's pretty cool. Kadena main.
Yeah, I was reading that through the Telegram. It a lot of action in there. Pretty much the whole team almost was there too.
Yeah. Nice to see the whole gang together.
I know, right? It's like the Avengers. They're finally together in one place.
Yeah. I still haven't had a chance to speak with some of them. Gotta try to convince Stuart and Francesca to come to KD Lounge eventually.
Yeah, I know, right? You're famous now, Alfonso, for tough interview questions. You're like the 60 Minutes of Kadena. It's tick, 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 tick. It's funny.
Is this Steven from EqualBet talking?
Yeah, that's right.
Steven had some. Yeah, you had some great questions as well.
Yeah, we asked one about the optimality of the of how the chain web is constructed. So that was pretty cool, and so I got a direct answer on that. So they kind of use a specific mathematical. It's not a formula, a mathematical theory, I suppose, to make the chain web graph. And then I was asking, is that kind of the best way to do it? And we got a yes. And then I said, can you prove it? It said, paper will come. So hopefully we get a link to a paper and I can read that through and maybe do a YouTube on it or something. Just because math is my degree in general. So I'm very interested in kind of how chain web is optimized, you know, how that graph, that funny graph that we see, 20 chains, 50 chains, 100, how it gets made, and then how you can have sort of mathematical guarantee that the block header is traveling through that topological space as optimally as possible. So very excited about that if I can get a paper link.
Wow, that was a lot of really big words I don't understand.
I'm with you.
It's okay. That's okay. I get that a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. So we might as well just get right into this. We record all of our spaces and also upload them to SoundCloud. So even after 30 days, once Twitter wipes them, we still have record of them. So everyone can always listen back to these. So might as well get going. So welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Project Network. Today we're speaking with the team from EqualBet about their launch of their Kings NFT series. That's going to be very interesting. I've been reading through the white paper that they released, and I will say this: it is definitely a way of utilizing NFTs I have not seen in the NFT space pretty much as a whole. It's almost like bringing a new life to how to operate an NFT. So we'll get to learn a lot more about that, obviously. We also have some people from KD Launch as well. So I'll just let you guys go right into it. Maybe a quick little intro about what KDBet is, just like the 30-second elevator pitch, and then we'll get right into the King's white paper stuff because there's a lot to cover.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, just EqualBet now. We did do a name change to get off KDA,
Oh
just to
yeah,
take
sorry.
KDA off the bet so that people
Old
get
habits
some.
die hard.
Yeah, we don't want people to think it's Kadena doing it. So obviously we changed to something more neutral and more accessible, I think, to just general sports betting people who aren't crypto. So just EqualBet now. A little introduction to EqualBet. What we're trying to do is we're trying to build a limit order book for sports betting on Kadena using their hybrid blockchain, both aspects of it, private and public. What we're trying to do is we're trying to use some of the functionality that is unique to Kadena, particularly around the idea of confidential transactions that happen on their L2 so that people can bet and not get front run, which is a massive, massive problem in our industry. Our industry is about over $1 trillion now year over year when you consider the legal markets and the non-legal markets. So there's over $500 billion, if you can believe it, in volume that is illegitimate and looking for a place to go where generally they don't get front run. And that's why they bet off, what they call off the screen, basically not on a public sports book, because the sports book will just take your data and they'll just front run it. So they'll just, say, oh, okay, it's Steve betting. We'll give him a tiny limit and then we'll use his data against him and move the line. So just like you get slippage in a swap or something like that, you get slippage in sports betting as well. So we kind of see Kadena as a nice solution. We think they did a really great job theoretically on building this kind of nice structure where you can kind of keep your transactions private. And we think that comes a lot from just kind of the work maybe Stuart Popejoy did at JP Morgan, where a lot of companies who trade equities and FX and bonds and stocks and all types of stuff, derivatives with JP Morgan probably have this same idea, right? They put down $1 million, $2 million bet on FX. You don't want other people seeing that because you're giving them information. Okay. So this huge clearinghouse thinks that the FX is going to move this way. Therefore, everyone's going to front run that before it gets filled. So that's kind of what EqualBet is kind of primarily about. And so if we build that structure, then the challenge is, liquidity. How do you find liquidity to make these markets liquid in sports betting? That's a very, very hard problem to solve. But we think that because of the decentralized nature of Kadena, we can solve that problem by emitting a token to those people who make the line more efficient. So if you're an originator, which is a person who makes really good lines and beats the odds, and you're making that line more efficient and you're providing your data to the protocol, we put a two-way price on that data by emitting the token. That is, you inflate the token supply slightly and give those tokens to those people who make those odds better and provide a lot of liquidity so that normal bettors can match up. Because the worst thing possible for betting is when you show up and you want to make a $200 bet on, let's say baseball. You want to bet on the Yankees today and there's no money there. So we see our competitors on Polygon, they got like $40. That's because the market makers don't care. They're not going to show up because they'll get front run and you're not incentivizing them you're not paying them for their data. So it's kind of a new concept that we have, the proof of efficiency protocol in our white paper, which you can access on Twitter. And that basically is the idea that you're going to pay people for their precious data when it's good and not so much when it's bad. And when we do that, what happens is the market makers are very happy. They come in early and often, and because they want to get that best price and make their bet the most efficient, so they get the biggest emission. So what you see is early on in the day, just lots of money is there. And then guys like myself and Joey, who's a partner in our firm, Joey Fortuna, one of the biggest bettors in America. When you're sitting there betting and you want to get $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 down on a good price, and your maximum bet is $500, well, that's not great. we pretty much don't find it worthwhile anymore to bet on in Web 2 applications most days. And so there's a lot of upstarts in America trying to build these types of exchanges, but the problem will always be no liquidity. And everything is on chain if you do it on Web3. And if it's on chain, I could just read your wallet and front run you. So on chain sports books never work unless they're centralized. That is, you're hiding the limit orders essentially. So that's what EqualBet is all about. That's the token. And the last part is the governance of the token. Okay. So when you hold these tokens that are emitted, and your bankroll acts as a vote as well. So every month we take a vote, because there's this idea of like, market makers get too greedy, and then recreational players come on and they're not winning. They're not, they're just getting destroyed by market makers who are really, really good at sports betting. And that's a big concern. So you want to balance the reward that you give to recreational players who probably won't win long term. They're doing it mostly for entertainment, or they think they want to win, but they're having like a lot of problems because it's a really, really hard problem. We balance that. So we let the market makers basically decide, because they're going to hold the most tokens, let's be honest. And what they're going to do is they're going to vote, should we give more emissions to the recreational players so that we can incentivize them to come on and keep this market healthy? Or are we not taking enough for ourselves? Because if they're not making enough profit, then why should we provide liquidity? So we're always looking for this dynamic balance, this optimal balance between the two forces, so that we have really healthy markets. So there's a governance utility to the token as well. And that is EqualBet without the NFTs.
Wow, that definitely sounds like something that will, like you said, it's going to happen anyhow. The information is out there and people are going to use it to their benefit in the other world. So why not reward the people for that data, especially like you said, it brings liquidity at the same time to what you're trying to do. And it just helps build also the community. It makes people want to come back. It gives them an incentive to keep betting and keep playing. So so that's all pretty much set up, and then now the NFTs on top of that. Let's talk a little bit how the King NFTs will play into this role, because reading through the white paper, it sounds very imaginative, I will say, at the very least, on how you guys have come up with this, and I'd love to hear all about it.
Yeah, early feedback when we were first starting out, before we even became publicly known on Kadena, we were looking at how to incentivize crypto people when you're building a business that isn't crypto related. So if you look at projects on Kadena like Lago, Kalend, various projects like that, I could probably go on, but you look at projects like that, which are great projects run by great teams, but they're mostly cryptocurrency focused, right? So a bridge is cryptocurrency focused, and there's a fee on the bridge, and then you got Kalend, which is a lending platform, so you can do margin trading. That's all like crypto focused stuff. But with sports betting, we're building a cryptocurrency to really service that sports betting market. And that market might not have very much to do with the concerns of crypto. We'll not call them bettors, we'll call them investors. So crypto investors, they don't understand sports betting or the world of baseball or soccer or whatever, esports, which is something we're very proud to bring to EqualBet, uniquely to EqualBet. They just don't understand those markets, and they don't want to bet on them. They don't know. They just want to buy the token, and then what they hope is there's enough buy pressure on the token to appreciate in value. There's also governance utility, so they can vote with their tokens. But we were told pretty early on that that's not enough. Crypto investors are really interested in the moon. We want to be on the other side of the moon and then traveling off to Jupiter, right, in terms of profits. So we really took that to heart. We really listen as a team to the Kadena community. And so we came up with the Kadena King NFT. And what we wanted to do was use something that crypto investors understand, which is the NFT. They understand what these things are. They understand that if you have good utility, price can go up, floor price, sell them on an open market. These are all things crypto investors really get. So we devised this to connect the NFT to the sports betting network in a way that didn't require the crypto investor to understand how to sports bet. And so what we do is, like any betting exchange, every dollar bet on the exchange gets taxed a slight bit. So on Betfair, you get taxed 5% of your winnings. So if you win $100, $5 gets taken from you and given to VC, basically, okay, or shareholders now. I guess VC is over now, but because they're a public company. But for us, it's the same deal, right? Except we don't have VC or shareholders. What we have is king holders. And so what kings do is they allow you to access that taxation pool. 0.5% of every dollar bet gets distributed weekly amongst the kings. So that's very lucrative, actually. If we grow a large scale network at size that gets adoption, that becomes extremely lucrative. So to give you an idea, Bet365 on their tax, I think they make $3 billion a year. Okay, but that's just one company too in the betting space. So very, very large incentive if we grow a large network with huge adoption. So this is the idea, and it's just such a simple idea, right? So if you own a king, the king has metadata in it. It can access a part of the smart contract that holds the pool of the taxation dollars or EQB token, which is translatable to dollars. And then those dollars get distributed amongst the kings for those kings that use that power on their NFT. So there's different ways you can make money with the NFT, but that's the main one, and the main one that we care about the most for people. So what we do is we work with KD Launch, of course. Alfonso, a great partner and a manager of ours. And what we do is we set up our IDO on KD Launch, and anyone who invests an allocation with KD Launch gets a king, a mintable king. And so how it de-risks your investment with us. So, you already have the upside of growing the network and utility of the governance token, but the NFT also gives you additional de-risking of your investment by tapping in right into those bets and taxing it just like a king would tax a peasant. Not to say that bettors are peasants. Okay, I probably regret saying that, but you get the idea. And so that's the fundamental aspect of the Kadena King, and that's how the genesis of it got generated. It's like, okay, let's mix together crypto concerns with sports betting network and not force people to bet to get a piece of that pie, so to speak.
Yeah, I like the idea of pretty much if for the people like me that aren't really into sports betting or betting in general, we can still get in on the NFT side of it and earn passive income just through that one feature. But, if you want to get more into it and start betting, there is a whole bunch of other features that you can access as well by the looks of it. And it kind of seems like the way you're working is with like a Magic the Gathering card kind of theme for your kings, and each card have different powers and experience points. So maybe you want to give a little explanation about how that will work.
Right. So the way we look at it is there's three tiers of risk that you can take. So some people like to risk and bet, right? So when they get a king, or you sell a king to somebody who's a professional sports bettor, which could be very lucrative, by the way, they want to bet, and they want to bet and get rewards for betting. However, like you said, people like yourself might just want to get passive income, just get their return on investment, cash out their return on investment, and maybe sell their king. Maybe you have two kings and you want to do that for one and take risk with another. So we came up with different ways to make money with the king. This is generally what crypto investors are concerned about. How do I make money off this network? So think of it as 3 levels of risk. The passive income is no risk at all. You just turn the king on, boop, you get your passive income. Nothing happens, your king stays the same. Stays in the same state. However, I thought of a middle tier, which was, a lot of people want to not take too much risk, but they understand that the market makers are the ones winning. So we were talking with Joey, our partner, and he said, look, everyone copies my bets. Okay, this is what happens in Web 2. And we're like, oh yeah, everyone does copy your bets because you bet so big and everyone can see what you're doing eventually. So wouldn't it be nice to give the kings the ability to spend some of their coins, we call it. So coins is a form of, I guess, like Magic the Gathering, you have land and that gives you the ability to use a power or something like that. Same thing here. You get a number of coins and, you can spend them all to get passive income, or you can spend a little bit less to do other options. One of the options is copying the bets of market makers. So you can essentially force a market maker, force is a strong word, but essentially what is happening. You can give them some of your bankroll, your EQB tokens, and then based upon their performance, you can get paid exactly what they get paid because they use your liquidity in their bets. So what that does is it gives the market makers a little more juice to move the line around, which is what they like. But at the same time, you're getting the same profits that somebody who's making the line, who's making the book, we call it. You get the same ROI, and they rarely ever lose. Like I think we have 2 losing weeks in like 100 or something like that in Web 2. We're pretty good at what we do. And generally those people who win are really good at what they do because they're using data at scale, making good odds and just kind of creaming the market. So great. You can lend those people money, and then whatever they make in a percentage, you get back in EQB tokens. So they use your money to bet. That's the middle level of risk. because they rarely lose. And the big risks, and so you get a little experience when you do that too. So we have this concept of experience points on the king. So Joey, our partner, you lend him some money, he goes and bets, he comes back, you make money. Whether you win or lose, you get some experience points, and you can apply that to your king to upgrade your king's mechanic. So, you can get a little more money you can lend to Joey. You can get a little more of the share of the passive income by upgrading that, upgrading your throne. So everything's mapped to a part of the image on the NFT. So the king gets a better throne, a better cloak, a better crown, a better scepter, better weapon, and that's all just basically upgrading your stats. And then the third level of risk, the most risky, is straight up betting, right? So we have these things that are going to be really, really valuable, not to the crypto investor, but to the sports betting investor or the sports bettor. And that is bet boost and free roll bets. So basically we can give you the option to make a bet. And if you lose the bet, we just cover your bet for you. Not that much money, but enough that it's significant. And so you can bet risk-free and make experience points on your king. Or you can really make a lot of experience points on your king and bet directly with something called bet boost. So what a boost is, and generally this is very popular in sports betting, is when you get odds, say on the Yankees versus Red Sox, say it's 1.96, 1.96 on each side. That's the odds, right? So if you bet 100, you get 96 back. You can boost your odds up by say 2 or 3 cents, get 1.99 on your bet. So you get 3 cents better, which is huge. And then, huge because margins are very slim, right? So it's huge. You bet with that, and then you get max experience for taking that risk on. So if you lose, you lose your tokens, but you get lots of experience out of that you can apply to your king and level up its value. So the more risk you take, the faster it levels up. And then the least risk that you take, obviously it doesn't level up as fast, and it costs a little bit more to do that. So there's a little bit of gamification in there, where you can kind of choose your path to level up your king in the way that you like it, and then set it up for maybe a sale 2 years in the future to a sports bettor. So if you level up that bet boost, sports bettors at scale, oh my Lord, if you can get 3 cents on every bet that you make at $10,000 a side, that's huge. You're going to sell that king for a lot of money to a sports bettor. So that's kind of what the powers are, the 3 levels of risk. So it's straight up betting, bet copying, and passive income. That's how we view it.
I really love the idea of the building up an NFT and building up its experience and building up all of these, like upgrading all of its different traits and features to bring better perks along with it, then turn around and flipping that to someone who's an actual big sports bettor so that they then get the perks is really something I see a lot of people are going to be doing, because in NFTs, a lot of people are into rarity collecting and things like that. So, usually the rarest traits, which will in this case probably be, the highest upgradable traits, will be the most desired ones, of course. Now, what's I'm very interested about these is that the NFTs themselves you will see on your platform, and they will literally be changing. So it's not going to be a stagnant NFT. When you get like a new throne, your NFT is going to change, and you will see the new throne and everything.
That's correct. Pardon me.
Yeah, that is the very interesting part for me.
Yeah, let me speak to that. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead, please. You weren't done yet.
I was just saying that I've never seen too many projects that ever had interchangeable NFTs like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we take a cue from the mock guys who are doing the same thing. So upgrading your NFT, and that's kind of unique to Marmalade, I think. With Kadena, the idea that what they call the manifest can be you can upgrade your NFT on that manifest and then connect it together with this thing called a decentralized ID, so that when you hash a new NFT, so all you're doing is you're hashing something. So we'll probably store NFTs because they're 3D and like IPFS or something like that, and then you get a hash with your metadata on it, which is the important stuff that lets you access the tax pool and all that stuff. And then the image itself is stored on IPFS and protected with some encryption. And then we're always upgrading that. So we can re-render your image, store it in IPFS, then connect it up into Marmalade into the manifest. And then what we can do is connect it into the past. So your version, you have backward compatible versioning here. So as your king, because you might have a king and then you upgrade. So there's like scepters, right? You upgrade your scepters and you get a really good one, like a diamond scepter. It's like really, really advanced, but maybe you like the copper scepter, right? So maybe you just like the look of that and you still want to use that, but you want your NFT to look a different way. So we can just trace that backward through the compatibility function of Marmalade, which is coming out. I don't think it's there yet, but it's coming. And then you can just kind of, not have to rehash everything. Everything is just kind of there and sitting there, if you get what I mean. And then you can just go back and say, look, just point to this NFT on IPFS somewhere. So that's what we're really interested in, is kind of building these upgradable NFTs and using Marmalade to connect that all up together and making it so that it's super safe too, right? So Marmalade is super safe. You can mint up your own marketplace and you can sell things with confidence there and not have to rely on a centralized system like OpenSea, which we do not want to deal with at all. So there's upcoming platforms on Kadena. We've already chosen one to work with. Can't speak much to that yet, but it's going to be great. And so you can just buy and sell and you can see things. And what we want to do too is be able to use 3D software to render the king the way you want to do it, right? So we showed an example of the king on the throne, how it looks. It's like a little bit of a trophy kind of look, but maybe you just want the face to show up on your Twitter because you want to represent your look and feel the way you want to. So the way you can do that is you can instruct some software in the back end which holds the 3D model in memory, and then you can like move the camera around to the place you want to, take a snapshot, and then that becomes a new stored NFT in IPFS. So you can point to that and say, look, that's the way I want my king to look online. So you can think of it that way too. But yeah, there's a lot of upgrades, and we're going to have vanity items as well. So you can use experience to purchase things, because not everyone just wants the way that we render it. They want like pipes and sunglasses, and maybe they want Kadena hair or like crazy shit. NFT people are crazy. You're all crazy. So, you want things to look the way you want to look. And so we will have vanity items too, and we'll render those things and kind of give you the chance to, customize the king the way you want to, outside of the main upgrades, which are going to be standard. Like, the throne has 10 upgrades, but you're not going to be able to choose your own throne. There's just 10. You know what I mean? It's more like vanity stuff: sunglasses, pipes, beards. For the ladies, they might like bracelets or something like that, or lace. Not to say that that's everything ladies want, but you get the idea. So that's what we're up to with the upgradable aspect. We really believe in that, and that's the strength of Marmalade and Kadena, and I think it's kind of unique to it. So we'll be looking to do that, and as you upgrade your king, it just gets more and more valuable.
Yeah, that is definitely something very unique. That's for sure. One more thing about these is the knights. So referrals are pretty much going to get knights. Do you want to speak a little bit on that?
We're getting some from I think.
Sorry, Alfonso? What?
I think we're getting some from your Twitter when like
a little double feedback.
From me?
Yeah.
I only have one Twitter.
Yeah, maybe just unplug use the mic when you're not.
Okay, let me see. How about now?
Well, let's try. Yeah, I can still hear the double.
Okay, I'll just mute myself when we're not talking. Yeah, I only have one Twitter on, so it's kind of weird, but that's okay. I can mute myself when I'm done talking. So the question is knights. Okay, so yeah, with knights, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build in sort of a famous function of sportsbooks, which is the affiliate marketing system into the Kadena King. So what affiliation is you recommend somebody, they bet a minimum amount on your website, then you get a cash reward. That is huge in our business, and sports bettors will expect that. So the NFT is nice because what we, our brand, our logo is all about the round table. There's a big story behind that, but I won't get into it. But the round table is how we view ourselves, because the round table gives you the sense of equality. And so we set up this thing called the round table in 3D, where kings can use some of their stored energy, or stored coins, sorry, to mint a knight. And a knight is an NFT that they can mint and then gift to a wallet, which represents somebody who's going to bet in their round table. So if you have friends who bet, like, you know, college bros or college sisses that bet and stuff like that, and just kind of are a little bit degenerate, you can you can mint them an NFT, and then they get an NFT, and when they bet, you get experience on your king. So your king starts to really, you know, level up. And if you level up the throne, which gets you experience multiplier, now you're really clicking, right? Now you're like getting experience not for only your bets, getting it multiplied, but for everyone else in your round table who is betting. And then you get really, really quick leveling up if you engage in the betting mechanic. And that makes your king really valuable really quickly. So that's the idea of Knights, is to give a cool way to make affiliates instead of like some stupid link on a website. Yeah, thank you for joegray@gmail.com's business. Here's $100, never talk to you again. It creates more social aspect where Knights can upgrade, and then kings can use their experience to buy vanity points for their knights as well, or vanity items for their knights as well. So it's like this thing where, you know, it interacts between the king and the knights, and it's like a little syndicate, we call it. So in betting, we have these things called syndicates, which is a bunch of smart people work together, bet together, and try to make money together. It's the same idea here. It's like your own little syndicate, but it's just memed as the round table. And so one thing too that kings can do is they can lend their powers to the knights. So if you level up your amount of energy, so that you have a lot more than your initial, or sorry, coins, we call it. So that governs how many times you can do an action in a week. You really level that up, you can, and you go on vacation or something, so you're not going to be around the bet. You can lend your coins to the knights, and then the knights can go and use your powers too, and boost their bets and keep that experience flowing into the system. Keep leveling up those NFTs. So that's kind of what the Knights are about. It's just affiliate marketing done in a cooler way, in a way that can bind you together socially through the Marmalade NFT.
Yeah, that sounds actually really cool. So a couple of other questions. As far as getting involved with this, with these NFTs, I assume, like you said, it's going to be involved if you are get in on the initial investment, that you'll be getting a King NFT sent to you as well. Now, I'm sure Katie Launch can also speak on to this of how will the actual launch of the NFTs themselves work out besides, you know, the people that invested originally get one, but if someone doesn't invest, how can they get in on getting an NFT King?
Yeah, so for now, the only way you can get the King is by investing into the IDO, and that gives you the chance to mint the King for around $150 later. We will also have some cool events that we're setting up with Steven and EqualBet, all of their team, that will give you some whitelists for minting NFTs. So, and there was the first 500 people who got to sign up for the King's initial kind of distribution got the initial free mint. And there was also an initiative from Ryan Mata to give some Kings to people who can't really mint on the IDO because they are not on the included countries that are able to participate. So these are kind of the ways that you can get the NFT, but it's really exclusive, as it should be, because it's a very good opportunity. So I would highly recommend that you guys try to get into the IDO, because I think it's the first time I see a real amazing use case for an NFT that I really can understand and enjoy. The gamification is kind of great, that you can really evolve the NFT and are able to, you know, as you bet and as you access all these kinds of ways of evolving your NFT, it gets stronger, and eventually you can be the first one to get like the fully upgraded NFT, which would be like crazy. Steven, can you explain a little bit how that part works? Like, how do you upgrade fully the NFT, and how long it would take to do that?
Yeah. So in the King's white paper, we give a little example, but the fastest way to go about that is to mint your knights right away. So get 5 people who bet. Take the first 10 weeks out just to keep your coins growing in your King's coin bag, I guess we'll call it, and then mint the knights, because every bet that a knight makes, if it's $10 or $20, doesn't matter. You're getting experience just rifling into your king without having to do anything yourself. And then what you do is you boost bets and just make little bets so that you're always getting all of your energy thrown into bet boosts. Now, of course, that costs a little bit of EQB. So, you don't have to bet much to get the 1,000 experience, $10, $20, whatever. But as long as you're betting and maxing out your experience, you're gaining as fast as you can. And then what you want to do is put as much of your gained experience as you can into upgrading the throne and the king's pose. It gets more aggressive, you get more energy. That's kind of the meme there. But if you do that, you get more max bets and more bet multiplier. And so you're really just rushing to get your king leveled up as fast as possible to the ultimate level, which we designed to take about 3 years to do. If you're doing this on a weekly basis and fulfilling the amount of bets that you need to do. I think the fastest you can get there is just over 2 years if you're just completely dedicated to upgrading the king. Now, the reason we do it that way is because we want the king to appreciate in true value, and that is based upon time put in. So that time that you're trading to level up your king should produce a lot of value. And you're right, Alfonso, if you're the first one to get the ultimate, what we call the ultimate king, that is all 6 upgradable attributes to ultimate level, it's going to sell for like the most. It's going to be like Pet Rock. Pet Rock 1. It'll just sell for stupid money to a sports bettor because it's unique. It's interesting, but it does take a lot of time and a lot of patience, making sure that you find the right round table and that you treat it like an investment. Any good investment that sells for a lot of money should require some work put into it. But if you don't want to do that, you just want to chill out, hey, you can still make pretty good money. So if you look at the economics part, you can see like how crazy and generous the return on investment can be tapping the taxation pool if you keep doing that all the time. So we designed the king to be, like you said, Alfonso, $150. We're not making any money off the king. Like there's no money made off these NFTs. It's actually a net loss. The reason we do that is because we want the returns to be awesome. That is, we want you guys engaged in our platform, betting and the word to other bettors how cool EqualBet is, and that's why we do it that way. It's not about rugging and making a profit with us. We don't want to do that. We don't care for that. We don't like rugs at all. So that's why we set it even lower than Bake. And we want to see if we can, give Bake a run for its money. Let's see how much money we can make off of real utility NFTs instead of like an image of an ape that has no utility whatsoever.
Yeah, and so just to wrap it up, bottom line is, if you want a King NFT, you gotta do the IDO, unless you get lucky to get one of the few whitelist giveaways that we're doing, and we'll be announcing that as soon as we finish some of the things we're thinking of. And if you wanna do the IDO, don't forget to go to Kade Launch and sign up for it. You need to do KYC, and then just wait for the dates of the IDO itself.
So speaking of the IDO and the whole regulations and stuff, with this, is it open to U.S. residents at all?
Yeah, no U.S. residents. You can actually see on Kade Launch there's an about page with a FAQ section, and there's a list of all the restricted countries that are not allowed to participate in the IDOs.
Now, to go a little bit more along the regulation line, with everything moving towards regulation, especially in the crypto sphere, they're trying to get more and more into it. What kind of experience do you guys have to navigate those regulations and keep it the Web3 version of this accessible to people throughout the world?
Yeah, super question. Asked every single time that gets asked, of course, because it's concerning because regulation is coming, like winter is coming, it is coming, whether you like it or not. And the issue here is that we with gaming, it's a highly regulated space, and you need a lot of expertise and skill to make sure that in each jurisdiction where bettors want to maybe upgrade their king, take bets, or they might have knights in different jurisdictions. You need to basically cover everything with licensing, and we're 100% white hat operation. That is, we're not going to take any bets unless it's government sanctioned. Just can't do that, otherwise market makers won't come on. They're not interested in gray market. I mean, they do gray market bet and all that stuff. I'm not going to lie, but if you want significant liquidity, you have to basically follow legal parameters that governments provide, and that's always like a shifting sphere in sports betting, of course, which is probably worrying to Kadena. I'm not going to speculate, or I guess I am speculating. It's like yikes. Do we want a project that could rug at any time? So what we did to mitigate that is we signed one of like the top lawyers in the world. That's Duncan McIntyre at Gambling Lawyer. He's a full partner and team member with Team Tokens in our project. And what he does is he just is a master of the interaction in between crypto betting and gaming legislation as well. So he just comes with all those relationships because we did all this back in 2016 on Ethereum, raised $10 million for Fans Unite, tried to do an IDO, got all the way to the launch and the ready to IDO, and then we found out that Ethereum just probably wasn't going to handle the bets at scale, and a lot of the investors were just not wanting to come on to Ethereum because of the cost, and of course you can't get recreational bettors because somebody betting $100 has to pay $50 to $90 in gas. You're going to never get a customer, which is why Augur is completely failed. Like Augur and Gnosis are just garbage. They don't work because it's too expensive to work. So all these L2s pop up, but everything's on chain. So it's this whole nightmare, right? And Duncan really takes care of this issue of legislation where he comes. So what we do is we have 1 million of our team tokens given to the company that he runs called Lion Gaming, and of course he gets his own team tokens as well, just to be transparent. So a lot of the tokens go toward our partner in legislation, which is Lion Gaming Group. You can look them up online, and what they come with is a lot of the custom league data that we need to run markets, as well as access and relationships to all of the jurisdictional lawyers and government officials that he's previously worked with and works with now. His white label services over 70 brands in sports betting now, and all of those brands need to go through legislation. So we're talking about one of the most experienced lawyers in the world in our space, and he's just right there at the top of our C levels on our team. So that's how we handle that. I'm sure he would give you a much better discussion around geofencing and jurisdictional KYC and AML and all that stuff. But fortunately, he's on business trip today. Otherwise, I would have invited him on. But generally, we're thinking of all of the complexities that come into taking legal bets and attacking them. So on day one, we'll have licenses in Malta, Gibraltar, Curacao, Costa Rica, all of the places where it's just much easier to get in because we're going to piggyback off of Lion Gaming's licenses as one of their white label partners. That's why we give them the team tokens, as well as development help and so many other things. So that's how we're tackling legislation, just by not trying to do it ourselves, reinvent the wheel, and think that we're so amazing that we can just navigate all this. No, we're going to go to a professional firm and pay the Dane Geld, you might call it, the price to get easy access to these licenses and expertise we need to deliver a world-class product to Kadena.
Well, it's definitely good to hear that already thought of this ahead, and sounds like you've got yourself one hell of a lawyer that is definitely going to be needed, because like you said, winter is coming, regulation is coming to crypto. There's not much you can do about it, because the main, the old legacy fiat system is starting to really feel the pinch nowadays, and crypto is coming for them. So the only way that's going to be able to happen is through regulation, because they're not going to let us play their game without their rules. So good to hear that you're on top of that and definitely taking that into consideration with this. So as far as your experience, you said before that you have a mathematical background experience. How would you find that that besides, being better at figuring out odds and things like that, how else has that really helped you develop this system and through cryptos and for DApp development?
Right. I mean, directly mathematical programming. So I'm an optimization guy, specialty in calculus and things like this. Just learning how to code in machine learning pipelines has taught me a lot about programming. I'm not an expert programmer, although some people say that I'm okay at programming. I would say that I'm not. I learn as I go, and I learn fast, but learning Pact is quite a journey, and you have to think about data structures, how code is spread across the blockchain. Because if you make inefficient code that sucks, your gas fees go through the roof. There's so much to learn on Pact, and I think my math degree gives me a background in complexity. I have a physics degree as well. I did a dual degree, so I learned a lot about how to put together complex systems. And boy, putting together, just pushing things to the blockchain and my own client was pretty tough. And it's been quite a journey on Pact. I sometimes complain about it. I sometimes laud it. But, math doesn't really help, here on the blockchain. It's a whole new concept, thinking about things in a decentralized format. And when you're thinking about multi-chain as well, which is, Kadena's claim to fame, this multi-chain interaction, it gets super complex. So I would say that I'm more thankful for the community. So there's many people that are helpful to me. So shout out to Whale Pool, Shipposter, and Thanos. Very helpful when they're not grumpy. And we got Mike from Mock, very helpful guy. A few guys on Kadena Builders Group on Telegram. And when I have questions, generally I ask them. And Kadena is kind of probably just too busy to answer those things these days. But you get a lot of help from the community. So building community relationships is much more important than my math background and putting things together on developing smart contracts, because it's not like Ethereum. I found Ethereum easy. Solidity was easy because all of the abstraction was done. So, instead of all these complex little functions you have to put together to push and sign things and then push things to a smart contract in Kadena, it's all like taken care of on Solidity, because there's just so many more developers. And, Kadena doesn't have a lot of developers building the infrastructure yet. So I think they say, our job is to build the L1. You guys build the wallet. You guys build. That's probably true. But it's just not there yet with Kadena. So it's a lot harder to build here. And so you should really rely on the teams. So Alpha Slayers, you can talk to them. You can talk to, the guys at Arcade are great. You can talk to them. And, a lot of people will help you out if you ask questions nicely. Now, the other part of the question is, how does it help the bookmaking part of it? Well, essentially math is bookmaking. You do not win in sports betting if you're not good at math, period. And I can link a few articles to you on that, but that's just the general consensus. Good luck winning if you're not using machine learning at scale these days. That's just how data intensive it is now. So I'll give you an example. So we just signed a deal with one of our favorite companies, Grid, a major deal where we get exclusive access and data rights access to esports data. So we'll be the only Web3 firm in the world that offers good odds on esports, because we have that granular data that comes directly from games built by companies like Riot Gaming and Valve Gaming. Grid doesn't work with them specifically, but they work with their data subsidiaries, and they get that data directly from the tournaments. So we can take that data and then turn it into statistical predictions on how good a team is. That's really hard, right? So Dota 2 or League of Legends or Call of Duty, PUBG, we're looking at these games, and players are in and out and they're doing crazy things and there's action all over the place. And that's why esports is so fun. But when you get all that data and you put it into a statistical machine, which is what we operate in one of our companies in Web2 called Highwater Technologies, what we do is we turn that into real-time odds that are really robust, so we can offer high limits and stuff. That's what the math background gives us. We can do data deals with guys like Grid, get exclusive access to tournament games and MLB, NFL, all these things. And then we can turn that into actionable odds, which allow people to come on and bet more, bet bigger, bet often because of the way we incentivize the protocols. So that's how the math background helps. It makes sure TVL is much higher and transactions are much more frequent because the odds are better.
I was actually planning on asking about the e-gaming stuff and how you guys were going to be bringing that into the online crypto betting, and that sounds amazing if you've already set up with Grid, because I follow a little bit of esports gaming, and I used to be a Twitch streamer myself, and Twitch is very huge into the e-gaming space. So maybe you guys ever thought of possibly having a Twitch channel? I would love to see. Maybe some of you guys are very personable and would probably do very well hosting Twitch channels and being part of maybe like announcing esports games and things like that.
Oh my God, yes, of course. Oh, if you got, I'm like Portuguese, sorry, Alfonso, I'm like a Portuguese soccer announcer. Go, go, go. It'd be like that all day long with the esports because I'm pretty degenerate gambler on Dota 2. I'm a big fan of Dota 2. If you don't know it, it's Defense of the Ancients. You can look it up. And I bet that pretty religiously. Not a winning better yet on that. That's a tough one to win on, but it is super, super fun to bet. And I love it. And so I would love to get on Twitch with Kadena people all day long because one of the things that comes with Grid is the live streaming. So we really hope to, offer the betting site. And then when you make your bet on esports, we can uniquely get the tournament live streams through our partnership with Grid and then make sort of a TV experience where we're online with you guys and we can just degen out. You think you're going to beat me at Dota 2? Let's go. So, I mean, let's have that challenge. Let's have that fun. Let's watch games together and cheer for it because it's way more exciting than baseball. Baseball, I love baseball, but, I'm at the baseball game to eat hot dogs and get fat. I'm not there to get excited and cheer like I am on esports, which is way more fun. So, we're really stoked about that. And, we are actually looking for somebody, to Kadena community to build that streaming platform with us. We don't have much time to get that done at the moment because we're busy with PAC, but, could be a good lucrative business deal if you have skill in streaming. So I'd love to make Kadena Twitch and just have it all Kadena and like never go on Twitch because I think our feeds are a little bit faster than Twitch even. It's just because we get direct tournament access. So that'd be really, really nice to build. It would give a lot of engagement. And me and Joey would be on that all day. I think Joey would be grumpy because he'd be losing all the time. He's not here right now, so I'll say that. But yeah, that's a great idea and lots of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's lots of people that if they're going to be betting on esports with you guys, almost love to be able to join and watch it while it's happening and chat with other bettors and things like that. And like you said, with Twitch, it also has a delay. So it's not like people could really use any information from that. Plus, you're getting the information before anyone on Twitch is ever going to see it anyhow. So it's not like you could use it in any way. It would just be a really fun way to interact with the community and just make people feel another reason to keep hanging out and keep coming back for more. So yeah, that sounds very interesting, and I would definitely be for sure hanging out in those Twitch chats because they sound like they could be a lot of fun. So what would you say as far as crypto and gambling, mostly sports betting and things like that, but it could go into any other types of gambling. Where do you see it right now, and where do you see it in, like, say, 5 years or so?
Sorry, just to clarify, where do we see the industry going in 5 years?
Yeah, basically, like, where do you see, like, right now, how do you see crypto and betting and stuff like that? You touched on it a little bit earlier about where you see it kind of lying right now, but where do you see it going in a few years from now?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of Web3 as the future. It's why I'm here, why I've been trying to build Web3 apps for 5 years now, mostly in Solidity, now on Kadena. What I believe is that this is like the lifeblood of sports betting. It's recreational customers. Recreational customers who aren't the best bettors are coming in and they're having fun, but they lose money. That's how the bookmaker makes money. Let's just be honest and say bookmaker always wins, and you're probably not going to beat the bookmaker. But if you do, all the glory to you. That's great. So, getting as many of those customers in as possible is important, and particularly younger customers. So people in the 20 to 23 range, 25 range, perhaps crypto rich is really, really important to access. And the big companies, they don't do a good job at that. Like, when's the last time you saw Bet365 put out an ad that got you spiked to go bet with them? Like no, they're terrible. And they are increasingly higher age community. They're not using technology like NFTs to build viral networks and meme-based networks. So we're really into the meme, love them. And we want to build meme stuff that gets people really excited and to come on and to use NFTs to our advantage, especially at the upgradable side. NFTs also have the advantage of engaging younger demographics. I'm an older guy, I'm on the cusp of Gen X even, so just aging myself there already. But you see that guys like us, we don't understand the NFT space as well, and we're all the executives now in the sports betting world. People my age, none of them are doing this. They're on Web3. They have no idea. Like Pinnacle Sports just did a deal on NFT or crypto the other day, and it was just a terrible deal. They don't understand anything about it, and great company, but they're just not really engaging crypto well. So what I see is when 2024 comes on, and we see the next halvening with the Bitcoin, and we're going to see a majestic spike in crypto valuation, just like we did last time. But this time it's going to be $250,000 Bitcoin. That's my prediction. Like I totally understand that that's going to happen. And what we're going to see is a lot of money flooding into people's hands who are NFT holders, who are, cryptocurrency holders, maybe, I'll swear, sorry, shit coins and altcoins. Everyone's holding these coins, and these coins are going way up in value. So there'll be a huge glut of money, and all of us who are we're still early in crypto. And all the boomers, they don't know anything about it. We're going to be the ones with the spare money lying around, and that's where the income is going to be for gambling, for TVL, for things that we are interested in, volume flow, transaction flow. And so a lot of these big companies are going to want to flood into protocols like ours and own a piece of it, because they're going to see that, hey, these NFT guys, these crypto guys, that's the future of gaming. That's where the young people are at, because we're actively learning right now to transact not in fiat anymore. Like I don't even have fiat anymore. Like I don't like it, and I don't hold it. I don't care for it. I want everything in crypto, and I wish it wasn't so volatile, but we're actively being trained to transact in alternative currencies. And so as people my age out of the betting experience, and the younger people come in and come up and they want to bet more, and let's make no mistake, people in the 20 to 30-year-old range are gamblers. We're crypto gamblers. Okay. Let's not lie about it. We're all gamblers and degenerate in the way that we spread out money into the blockchain. So this is where the new customer is going to be, and our incumbent Web2 companies don't understand that. And people in 10 years, in 5 years, we're not even going to understand how to spend cash anymore. Like I was in Florida last year, and in Florida, you can't even get on the train anymore to go from Miami up into the kind of the northern suburbs of Miami. You can't even use cash anymore. They don't even accept it. Like, get your dirty money out of here. It's credit card or it's crypto. So that's where the future is going. And in 5 years, there's going to be a major paradigm shift in payment rails, because everyone's trained now. Bitcoin, Ethereum. We don't want US dollars. Please do not give me US dollars. That's my take on the future of gambling.
Yeah, I firmly believe that is the future of just fiat money in general. It's for people that don't know, just go look up the definition of the word fiat. It literally means to self-implode. It's made to go to zero. and it is definitely working its way there. And the fact that people don't use paper money. Paper money is a dead thing of the past. Like you barely see it anymore. They're getting rid of banks as a general. We're moving towards a paperless society. Most people you see nowadays. I used to work in the in the in the for like a grocery store and stuff like that. Most people use their bank card, credit card, or even nowadays their phones. Apple Pay, Google Pay are the ways of the future, and that's just going to be turning over into crypto. Like you're going to have crypto wallets that are going to be just like Google Pay, where you just tap your phone and it takes it out of your Bitcoin account or whatever kind of coin that you want to have. And that's definitely going to be the future. I don't see it happening in the next 10 to 20 years, maybe 30, 40 years from now, because generational things do take a while to take effect. You can go look at charts of, say, like how long it took cell phones to come into fruition and be common, how long it took for credit cards and stuff to take over from checking, things like that. We're getting these generational things are happening in smaller and smaller amounts of time because people are learning faster, especially with the technology behind it. So it's just a matter of time before crypto does become the new norm without people even really knowing it. And when that happens, you guys are going to be poised with the back end and the security and the around the world participation, and people will just come flooding to it. So I know I'm very excited to see what the future of crypto betting everything is. I'm a little bit over, I'm more of a millennial age for aging myself, but I got into crypto and realized right away the potential in it. And a lot of people don't quite see the potential in it because they don't quite understand how it's going to work as opposed to the old system, but that's just going to come with education. So it's very interesting to see where this space is heading, and the fact that you guys are going to be leading the way. I'm very excited, and like you said, NFTs and memes are going to be the future, as much as we may not want it to or not. I'm not a huge fan of memes myself, but definitely that is the wave of the future. The kids love their memes and their TikToks and all of that kind of stuff. So very interesting to learn everything from you guys tonight. This NFT project of the Kings sounds absolutely amazing. And for sure, if you're going to want to get in on this, you're going to want to go over to KD Launch and sign yourself up, go through all the KYC, get in on this IDO. I think I'll probably be doing that when I'm done tonight because I haven't been excited about an NFT project in a while. And after reading through the paper today, I have to say you guys are definitely piquing my excitement again and getting me more back into NFTs.
Cheers. Thank you. That's a huge endorsement. And, I think just to close on that notion, the idea of an NFT should always be to tie the concerns of crypto investors to whatever market you're serving, whatever market you're trying to decentralize. And just for us, it happens to be sports betting. And if you can make that channel simple, that is that utility, how does that NFT give you utility in that network you're trying to grow? That's the key. So for us, it's just so stupidly simple. Get the tax on the bet, make money. And so one thing you can do just to get the idea of how big the opportunity can be is just go to the white paper and look at for the Kings and look at section 4 on the economics. And we just give you kind of almost a conservative case for how much money you can make over 5 years for a $150 investment. So we're hoping to get 3-digit returns on investment, kind of like Bake did. I think Bake did 1,000 actually, or maybe even more than that. I think 1,000 times at least. So we're really going for that that big return on investment. That's what we really, really want for our investors. We want it to be the hedge on owning the coin. The coin will go up and down as TVL enters into our smart contracts. But that NFT acts as a bastion of financial security for whatever investment you make through us in KD Launch. And that's what we hope to do with that. So for us, it was a no-brainer. It's just like, let's give real utility to the NFT. And I think a lot of NFTs out there should learn from that example, not to be holier than thou or anything like that. But if you're building an NFT, just make it really, really easy for people to understand how they make money off whatever thing you're trying to decentralize with a token. That's the key.
Wow, that definitely is going to be the future moving forward. It's just like you said, make things easy and just move people towards that. And the turnkey things are going to be what moves the future. So I'm definitely excited for you guys. So I don't know if anyone has any questions out there that are listening. Feel free to step up and send a request to speak. I'm sure the team here would love to answer any questions that you may have. I know I, for one, have learned a lot more than I thought I was going to learn tonight, and definitely going to be very excited to hopefully get a king myself and get him onto a nice, huge throne and with some scepters and weapons and all types of things, and maybe a cool mustache or a pipe or something. I know I'm definitely I'm a video game player and was into collecting things like skins, so it's kind of like the same idea for that. The just you know novelty type items that you can add. So I see we had Noah join us. If you have a question, feel free to go ahead, Noah.
Yo, what's up, guys? So if I get a knight on my to my king, will I be able to change that in future? Change them out, or is it fixed after I mint the NFT?
Yeah. So say if you have a knight, and then I'm going to give a pretty morbid example, but say if you had a friend or a associate, and then they got sick or something and couldn't bet anymore, and then that knight is kind of worthless because it sits inside the person's wallet. What we'll be able to do is probably burn that knight and then allow you to mint a new one at no cost, right? And then you keep all the experience that you got, of course. We just have to have some sort of burn and remint capability. Otherwise, something, ill can happen. Sometimes you have a friend you bet with, you might get in a fight, and then that knight becomes worthless. So we will be handling that technicality in the smart contract.
That's
Perfect.
good forward thinking. Excellent question. Thank you, Noah. Yeah, I was thinking of that too. Of say, like, to go along with the morbid side of, say, a king gets a full 5 friends and they all join up together, and then something was to happen to that king person and they were to, say, pass away. Could you build into a feature where, say, if the king is inactive for X amount of time, that the king's knights in the round table all just automatically get reburnt and resent?
Yeah, I should be honest with you and say I don't know yet. My preferred thing would be like to pass the king onto a new wallet. So we would have some sort of function where there'd be some sort of transaction where the king can pass to, say, maybe to like your wife's wallet or your brother or something like that, just in case something bad happened, and that would suck for everyone, right? So we definitely have to have some sort of transference capability. I'm not going to say we have that totally figured out yet. That would be a lie. So I'll just be honest with you and say we're definitely talking about that in the office. It is something that we do have to get done before we do the mint. So our preference would be some sort of transference, like a will or something like that, where it can just be transferred to somebody who's trusted in their wallet. If something bad were to happen, say you go inactive for 3 months or something like that, it's just really hard to tack down that time scale because you might take a vacation to, like, I don't know, Ibiza for 3 months and have fun, right? And then your king's gone and you're like, shit, where's my king? You never know, right? So it is definitely a bit of a balance, and we have to kind of think about that.
Something like a beneficiary address that you add onto your NFT or something. That sounds kind of like the idea. But at the same time, if this NFT is going to be in a wallet that you control, and if you control the private keys and phrase to that wallet, really that should be like, I have multiple wallets that have multiple phrases, and I have it all set up that if anything was to happen to me, my loved ones, I have the phrases all backed up and instructions on how to recover all of these funds. So if something does ever happen to me, I know that my wallets are not just going to go into the crypto abyss and sit there forever. unaccessible. So it's just, it's always, people always have to think forward. People don't like to think about that and think about, oh, someday something would happen and I'm not going to be around anymore. But it is always good to think in the future and have those things set up, because you never know. Like, you could step out on the street tomorrow and get hit by a bus. The world works in funny ways. So it's always good to always think forward like that. So if anyone else listening has any other questions that they'd like to ask, please feel free to step up and send a request. But I'll have to say that I'm definitely excited to get into the Kings. It's definitely something I see that's going to be one of the top NFTs I can see right now, with people building up their Kings and building up the experience on these NFTs, that floor prices for reselling these on a secondary market, I can't even imagine what the prices may bring. It could be, like you said, to someone who's an experienced sports bettor and sees like someone that builds up a crazy King NFT, the value to that sports bettor is like, you can't even really calculate it, because they can make so much money off of that it's just like, I don't even want to put any numbers. It's definitely going to be worth it, I would have to say, for anyone getting in on an original $150 investment. That sounds almost, like a too good to be true kind of amount. So if anyone, like I said, if anyone else has any more questions, but if not, this probably be a good place to wrap it up. If Katie Launch, if you guys have anything else that you'd like to add, maybe any information about how people, like I said, can get signed up with you guys and check out the IDO and get all set up to be ready to be kinged.
Are you guys listening? Oh yeah, you're okay. Just thank you for having us. I want to say what an amazing opportunity it is to showcase the amazing work that Stephen and the rest of the team at EqualBets are doing. Again, one of the greatest NFTs I have seen so far, and also one of the greatest projects on Kadena, in my opinion, building now. So if you want to join and participate in the IDO, just go to KadenaEcosystem. The process is pretty simple, but we have some tutorials as well on the YouTube channel on how to register and how to lock in for the KDL for the IDO, and how to do KYC. So just head on to our website, KadenaEcosystem, and you should be good to go.
Maybe one last bit of information too. Today we're actually signing the deal with the artist to do the 3D. So it's a well-known Kadena guy, Soileman. Probably always pronounce his name wrong, but he's coming on, and we got his signature on the contract today. So we're just very excited to get to the actual rendering of the 3D models so that the Kings can get the mint going on. So it's gone from theory to actual production, it's still slow production, but we're doing the production and the smart contracts now for the minting aspect of it. So, or the smart contract component for the minting. So look forward to that. We're getting all the information together, and we'll be reaching out to the King holders and getting production going on the first 500, which is really exciting for us to see it come to reality. So look forward to that, and really thank you so much, Kadena Project Network, for having us on, and it's just super to get to be able to talk about that.
Well, you're very welcome. We are very happy to have you guys on. It sounds like an amazing opportunity for everyone and an absolutely amazing project. EqualBet definitely has their ducks lined up. They've covered all their T's and crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's by the sounds of it. So it sounds like a very awesome project, and I for sure am going to be getting involved. So I'd like to thank absolutely everybody for coming out tonight, for EqualBet and Katie Launch for joining us. And make sure you guys go and get in on this before it's too late. Go get yourselves a King NFT. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming out tonight, and take care.
See ya.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also, make sure to follow us on our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter. All the links can be found directly on our SoundCloud profile page. Thank you very much for listening, and take care.